Hi everyone, I wanted to quickly introduce myself. My name is Tina Petrova. I'm a real estate agent here on Cape Cod and I'm with ERA Cape Real Estate. Before diving into this, I think very important topic for everybody that is looking to relocate to Cape Cod, I wanted to just quickly tell you what I did here. It's not going to be just my opinion. I asked 20 local residents of Cape Cod what they would share with people moving to the Cape. Number 5, the fifth thing I wanted to start with is something that we're not crazy excited about, but it's here and we live with it, and that's the cost of living on Cape Cod. Just so you know, roughly, I'm gonna share statistic numbers so you know what I'm talking about. But the cost of living on Cape Cod is 28% higher than the national average. And the cost of groceries and utilities is 10 to 15% higher than the national average. So yes, it is a little bit more expensive. Not everything though. The healthcare we have here and the transportation, they're below the national average. The other factor that I think really makes this place on the higher end is that we're a very touristy destination during the summer, which is like automatically this means like the little shops will be a little more expensive, the restaurants will be a little more expensive because it's a resort ultimately. So everything is a little bit more expensive and it doesn't really go down in the winter for the locals. So the cost of living on Cape Cod is definitely a little bit higher than the national average. For the house pricing, honestly, there's like everywhere else, from like it varies from town to town, like it varies from state to state. So I would say that it's kind of, on the higher end, but also you can find a very affordable housing in like the central areas, because looking around the coast, looking around, houses overlooking the ocean, they're not going to be in any of the $500,000 to $700,000 price range. They'll be more above the million. So, but again, if you look into the central areas on Cape Cod, you can definitely find more affordable houses. Another thing I wanted to share before moving away from the cost of living on Cape Cod, this is like the rental situation here, and it's not that it's more expensive than everywhere else. So what I wanted to kind of go over is how seasonal the rental properties are, and that if you find, to rent something year-round, you're considered very lucky, because not many of the rentals are year-round. The landlords tend to obviously want to, rent the property weekly during the summer and make a little bit of, more money. So all these people that have been like living in that place during the winter, they have to go somewhere else during the summer, which is another big issue here on the Cape, because there's not enough places for those people to go. And obviously, again, being very seasonal and being very oriented into the summer season, we do need a lot of seasonal employees, and they need a place to live. They obviously will have plenty of jobs, but they need a place to live. So this is where it gets, a little bit more difficult. So it's the price. I'm not gonna even go there right now. It's not that it's very, very pricey. It's just very hard to find rental properties on Cape Cod. Number 4, I already mentioned a little bit of it. And this is like all the 20 people that I spoke to, they agreed with me. And they had this point overlapping that the Cape Cod is very seasonal, and the seasons are very distinctive. And we have, obviously, if you're moving to Cape Cod, you've probably been here on vacation at least, and you know how hectic summer season is. You know how crazy the traffic gets. You know how we have tons of restaurants, tons of shopping, tons of things to do in the summer, and it's just awesome. There's a lot of things that we struggle with, like I mentioned, seasonal employee housing and stuff like that. But overall, Cape Cod is so about being this coastal, great beachy area, and it's just unbelievable. But after Labor Day, things change slowly, but they do change, and we get into off season here on Cape. And obviously, good thing is like there's no traffic, but also most of the places are closed. The small local businesses can't really afford to go and operate year round because we don't have this volume anymore. So it gets, we understand why everything is closed, but obviously it's kind of, you live here year round, so you want to have access to those amazing restaurants and shops and things to do year round, but that's not really the case. And being here, I've been here for 13 years now, being here for so long, you do find things to do. You do find, where to go, what to do, where to eat off season. So it's, it's fine and you get used to it, but just be prepared mentally that Cape Cod is not what's in the summer. So I would recommend to everybody who's planning on moving to Cape Cod year round to like test it out first, like rent some small cottage somewhere in February for at least a week and just experience what Cape Cod has to offer off season. And I think if you like it, if you think it's charming to like bundle up and go to the beach for a walk or on one of the trails that we have here and just just live the life, the off season life, and again you like it, then come on in, because we need more local people here on Cape Cod. Number 3 is something everybody will be very excited about, and it's something that we don't really necessarily talk about all the time, and this is the great food we have here on Cape Cod. It's probably obvious to some people that the seafood here is very fresh. It's right off the fishermen's boats almost every day, and you cannot really beat that. But we do have access to a lot of great restaurants. The fact that we are a very touristy destination allows everyone to enjoy what going to a big city or resort is. And I feel like everything that we have here in Cape Cod, it's like a combination of what people have on like in Boston, New York, and let's say Miami or something, because we have a lot of different cuisines, a lot of different type of restaurants here on the Cape. It's just like there's a place for everybody and every taste. So the local fried seafood, it's a very, very famous thing on Cape Cod. This is what where you're gonna find a long line of people in the summer. We don't really have a lot of them left open in the winter, and we do understand that. Obviously not a lot of the local businesses can support themselves through the winter because the volume of people, it's not the same anymore. But we do have. Number 2, it's something that it's very close to my heart. Almost every one of the 20 people I spoke to mentioned, and this is why it's on the list, but this is the people on Cape Cod and the feel of being part of the community here on Cape Cod. It's so amazing. If I tell you, before I moved here, I would never say hi to anybody on the street without knowing them. It was like very strange to me to just like, hi, how are you? And I don't know that person. And by living here for so long, now it's like, it's weird if I don't say hi. And it's, I feel awful if I'm like in my head or on my phone and I just don't say hi to somebody. And it's like, oh my God, I'm such, rude person. So it kind of becomes part of you, and it's just amazing to know that you are part of this community and people will always support you. And this is why our local businesses are thriving, because people will go out of their way, they will drive the extra mile to go shop in a little boutique, in a little fresh like fruit market, just to like support the local businessman, to like support the people that actually grew the product, made the product, like handmade the product. So this is what's amazing. We don't have the big box stores, we don't have big chains. We don't, like, most people think that it's very convenient to have that around, but we've learned how to live without it. And I think it's like a privilege to be here and to know that if you decide to open your own business, people all around Cape Cod will like support you big time. And now we are almost at the end of my video. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm about to share with you the one thing that I promised to do. And this is what all 20 of the people I spoke to mentioned and pointed out and said that this is why they live here. This is why they moved here years ago, because it's very safe. Cape Cod is very, very, very safe place. And I think we're very fortunate to have extra police presence. Like you can see police cars driving by neighborhoods, and this is not because the crime rate's high. This is the exact opposite. The crime rates are very low. This is why, because we have the police presence. This is the place you want to be if you worry about what's going on out in the world. And if you have little kids going to school, or if you have kids in high school and it's like kind of scary out there. If you're just a single woman moving here looking to retire, in any situation, I think it's like a human nature to seek to be safe. And this is one thing that we couldn't find anywhere else. And if we are tempted sometimes to relocate from Cape Cod because you cannot afford this like big mansion that only costs $500,000 somewhere, you're just reminded very quickly that just by like clicking on the news, for example, you're reminded that living on Cape, the feeling of being safe is priceless. And I really hope that I have helped at least one person or give you a little bit more information that you've been seeking in your search to where to go next, where to relocate, where to move. Again, if you have any questions whatsoever in regards to Cape Cod, living here, where to go, places to eat and stuff like that, and also if you have any real estate needs, please give me a call or text me.